Okay. I gotta come. Okay, well, let's talk Valentine's Day. Man, I don't know about you. I'm an old guy now, you know, and I've been married 3 times even. Got a lot of history about this stuff. And Valentine's Day, I really never figured out because I never figured out love. I don't know about you, but when I grew up, you know, getting a date or figuring out relationships, men didn't think about any of that stuff. They just thought about it like if they didn't have a date yet for Saturday, you know, and it's Friday already, then they start worrying about it. You know, all the other stuff that you worry about, you know, that women are more sensitive to. Man, guys, at least in my generation, never thought about any of that kind of stuff. And I think that's why my first 2 marriages failed. Man, I didn't know it took so much work. I mean, it takes effort, you know, and that's the whole thing in life. I mean, as much of a business, I was so involved in starting businesses and everything. I thought that was my main job in life. Wow. You know, a relationship takes as much work as a business. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But also, it's now human relationships too. To me, is, and I'm not a psychologist or a sociologist or anything. This is just my seat of the pants thinking from hanging around this world so long already. That you know how we treat each other in life and our loved ones. I mean, I grew up in a family where you know, an Eastern European. You know, my parents were all immigrants, or their parents were. My grandparents all came over from both sides and everything, and they were just trying to do the American dream stuff, you know, just like immigrants today. It hasn't changed at all. But in our family, we sort of like ruled everybody. I mean, loving each other was telling people what to do and tell them how they should run their life. And I thought that's how you love somebody. That's what this stuff was supposed to be like, you know. And after, you know, like I say, 2 marriages, you know, I think, boy, you know, I got some crazy thoughts in here. You know, I gotta be, I gotta think more about this stuff. And what I found, at least in my own life, what I feel is that loving somebody is not telling them what to do. The world tells you enough what to do. You get all that beat up stuff for free, you know. What's neat about somebody who loves you or to love somebody is to love them for what they are. So you feel comfortable. You go through school. Everyone's trying to tell you what to do, how to be something, how to do this, how to do that. They're all trying to tell you know, this what works, this what. You go to seminars, you go all these places. Everyone's telling you how to be. Yeah. And that's why I think we get so upset in our lives. I mean, I heard some data the other day that, you know, 70% of people working in normal jobs, you know, are so anxious and anxiety. It's almost making them sick. Yeah. And that's where they're all trying to be somewhere else. So I think love, what we as, you know, if you love somebody, how to be different than everybody else out there and how to be helpful instead of, you know, dysfunctional to somebody is to help them do what they want to do. And it's easy to be a critic. It's easy to be a judge. But we all, I mean, to me, when you judge somebody's life like that, you're saying, hey, don't you think about your life and all? Boy, you're an idiot, you know? I know what you should do. And how the hell does anyone have the right to tell anybody else what to do with their life? We're all struggling. I don't know what the hell to do. Every day I'm guessing. Yeah, but I'm so easy for me to give advice for other people, right? And that's especially loved ones. That's not stupid. I mean, people I don't know, I guess it's easier. But loved ones, man, how can we really tell somebody else how to do what to do with their life? They're struggling with that every second of their day, you know. And all the time they're thinking about it hard. They don't know what to do. And we all don't. And even if giving advice we're probably wrong anyway, you know. Most of the things we do is wrong. So that's why we have to help each other figure it out for themselves. So my theory now is if you love someone, your job is to do and help them do whatever they want to do. Not what you want them to do, what they want to do. And that's going to come back to you so much because if they're happy. If you're trying to tell them, oh, do this, then I'm happy, they're probably not, right? And then they don't become lovable. You know, and then they can't love you that much either because they're miserable all day, trying to do what you said or trying to do what the media said or trying to do what their professor said or whatever. And they're not fulfilling their own heart, you know, and their own, you know, insides or whatever. So I think the best thing we could do for Valentine's Day is ask our loved ones, hey, what do you want to do with your life? How can I help you do that? So maybe they want to, change careers. Maybe they always wanted to start a nonprofit or any of those kinds of things. So you could help them do that. That's what we should be doing. And then if they're at least, to me, at least if you're struggling towards what you want to do, if you're struggling, life is a struggle, no matter what we do. It's all hard work. There's no easy way out of this unless you sit on the beach and have no money and commit suicide or something like that. The rest of us have to struggle our butt off no matter what we're doing. If it's miserable or not miserable or whatever. But if you're working towards something that you feel is right for you, that struggle is worth it. And that's what we have to do. So then they come, if they're not miserable all day because they're doing something they want to do, they come home and kick the dog. They take it out on you. But if they're doing it, and you're supporting them in whatever they want to do. So when they get beat up by the country out there or the society or whatever it is that's beating them up, they could still come back to you and say, hey, what can I do to help you do this better? Or what do you need, to do this better? And you help them do that. Because then when they happy, man, all the clouds lift. They become lovable. You can love this person harder now. And then they're able to love you better or whatever. And see, that's what I see a lot of my work is about too, is trying to show people how to do what they want to really do in life. And I think our loved ones have to help them do that. Not tell them, sure, if you want to share some specific facts and things like that, or if they ask you, of course, or if you think they're going off the cliff, you have something to do. But most of those things don't happen. They're just something they have to fail at. They're not going to, fall off a cliff and die for trying something, because we don't know what works. We don't even know what works for us, or we'd be doing it. Why are we trying so hard individually? Because we don't know what works. How can we tell somebody else to do what works? So that's why it's helping someone else get the tools so they feel secure in what they're trying to do. They don't know it doesn't work either, but they could try to do it, and you could help them try. Whether it's finding help for them or getting on the phone, getting on the internet, and that's a lot of my work is showing people how to do what they want to do in life. And I'm biased about this idea, and I'm very selfish because my work helps show people they have options out there. You're stuck in a lousy job or whatever. Well, there are like 150 websites that will give you money to live on while you're struggling through another job. Or you don't have to quit a job. More jobs more careers are successful if you started part-time than if you jump off and do it full-time. So help them do that. Or whatever it is, They want to go back to school. Okay, you don't have to spend $50,000. There's other ways to go back to school, to learn a new skill or trade or whatever. Man, I just found a woman who when you wanted a new house, and she and her two older kids, they went on YouTube and learned how to build a house, their own house. And the whole house cost them only like $130,000, and they learned everything they need to do to build it themselves with YouTube videos. That's the world that's going on. You don't need a PhD from something. Sure, maybe there's some skills or whatever, but you can get that for free too, from nonprofits, from government programs that train you for 6 months to get a real skill you need. That's out there. But how do we help each other, support each other in what they want to do, not what you want them to do? And it took me a long time to realize that. I'm going to go to the rest of my life just believing that and trying to do that. And I hope my work, does that for people, is show them alternatives to do what you really want to do in life. Now, it is, it's all self-serving what I'm talking about, because I have products like this, so don't trust me. Okay, if you see a salesman like me selling you something or has something to sell, the motive is there, and that's the problem. With life is that you can't trust people's motives. But I don't know if you can tell from this video. It is sincere for me. I would give all this away because it's so much of a joy to give it away. But I have to stay in business, or I can't keep helping people, and that's the key. The stuff I do now, I used to charge tens of thousands of dollars to Fortune 500 companies. They use this stuff all the time. the free help. So yourself, you go and do the research, and just believe it's there. You could find sources of free money and free help and everything to get going. And it's just not what shows up on Google. See, Google just shows you stuff that people are going to sell you something. You want to take a course? You're going to get all these for-profit universities saying, give me your phone number, I'm going to call you, and we're going to make you happy. As long as you get a student loan and give us the money. It's nonsense. There's universities you can go for free online, and they're accredited and things like that. But you can't find them because you can't push through all the stuff that's out there. You have the biggest, this is capitalism. You're fighting capitalism. This is what this country rules by. And the people with all the money are using that internet to sell you stuff. So it's an arms race that we won't win because the big guys control too much. But if you learn the cracks, that's what it is, learning the cracks in there. Whatever. Just keep asking people. Go to websites that are either .gov or .org. Go to your library. Contact your reference librarian there. Ask them about that stuff. Just keep asking people. People are becoming more important now because there's too much crap on the internet. You go on the internet, you get 50 million websites, and that's not helpful. You don't know anything about that. You got to find people who know that stuff. Your friends or whatever, they're not, they don't have enough. Maybe they have one experience or whatever doing it, but it's not enough to find you the alternative stuff in there, that's out there to help us all. And really to do things that you want to do in life. Because if you're doing that, then you become lovable. You have more love to give because now you're satisfied. You can't help anybody else until you're helped. So that's the important part. And actually for Valentine's Day, now here's the sales pitch. Okay? If a custom report, like you have a loved one who wants to start a business or start a nonprofit or go back to school or just get money to live on while they're putting their life together, I'll do a custom report for them, for you, okay? Are you back there? Okay. Got another call. Why did this go? Okay, so use the coupon code Valentine. Because these reports that I do, particularly the custom reports, they take a couple weeks sometimes because I'm doing your ditch digging research. So if you don't have time to do it, I'll do that for you, and I'll send you a report that you could give them on Valentine's Day. Now I don't know how many I could do by Valentine's Day, but if I don't, I'll send you a personal letter that you could give to your loved one, and I'll sign it and tell them how you did this wonderful thing for them, and stay tuned that I'm going to come to the rescue to help you do what you want to do in life, and that you were so nice enough to do that for them, and just put in the coupon code, put Valentine, because that's, I'll know it's one of those, and I'll do that for you. But even if you don't use me, remember the stuff is out there. It takes work, it takes effort. Everything in life does. Otherwise, if it was that easy, life would be boring. But what's fun about hard work, if it's something you really want to do, and that's what I want to get more people to do, because then the whole world will be better. If I'm running into people who really want to be there instead of miserable and can't wait to go home, and the people I deal with every day will be happier too, because they'll be loving where they are and sharing that with the rest of us. Well, thanks for putting up with me. Sorry for the babble and philosophy and the sales pitch. But again, there's no magic to what I do. It's just ditch digging and using my expertise to know how to get through this stuff. But otherwise, remember, it is there, and you could dig those ditches too. Train yourself to do it. Just believe that if you don't get it the first time, try the second, try the third, try the fourth. That's what life is. All about failure. It's all science. But the scientist has to work through a lot of stuff to get the right answer. It's just not, oh, I think this will happen. No, I think it's here. And then you say, oh, it isn't. That's stupid. But you learn something for the next thing. And that's important. It's learning for the next. And the only way you learn what you really should have asked the first time, if you go through a bunch of closed doors and get little clues about what it really should be. But you can't, it's like Picasso thinking what the end of the painting is. You know, you throw on some paint, you see what, now I think of something, then you throw on some, and it evolves. Sure, you have some kind of idea to start with, but it usually winds up way different than what you started with. And that's the fun of life, is the surprise. If there was no surprise, life wouldn't be fun at all. Two people like me already. Gosh, what did I do? I don't even do anything yet. Well, that's awfully sweet of you. I can't get over all this stuff we do on social media, on likes and thumbs up and all this kind of stuff. Hey, you can't take that to the bank, so it's really not a business. I'm an old school business guy, and trying to get used to all this kind of stuff. But it's in there somewhere. That's where all the people are, so that's what's going on. But at least I think people are learning more. Instead of, social media encourages people to teach and educate and pick up stuff, and so they can do more things themselves. So that's sort of neat, instead of everything just for sale. Or actually, what in my day, these seminars people used to have, they say, oh, come to a seminar. The whole seminar is just about selling you stuff. That was like the Trump University was about. You went to a free seminar, and before you left, you spend thousands and thousands of dollars. So it was a seminar to be sold. That was it. But I used to do the same in Fortune 500 companies. I used to teach them how to get information from Washington, and they'd come and pay me $500 to listen all day, and then they'd hire me to do it for them. So I guess there's something to that, And let's see, so we got another minute. Like it really means, like the world won't start. For another minute. I think God, when they made the world, well, let's see, we don't start till 9 o'clock, so we're not going to start making this world until 9 o'clock. We have 5 more minutes to do that. But it's fun. It's fun. And boy, I think Trump's going to make it a lot more fun for everybody. It's just watching him work. If you call it work, but he's having fun. So it's going to be like the parade, the guys behind the parade with the elephants. You have to sweep up the stuff. He's going to do so much stuff, you'll never know what breaks, what doesn't break, and everything. So maybe that's what life really is like about. Okay, 6 o'clock on the button. So actually what I want to do now, for the last, 6-8 months now, I've been doing custom reports to show people about grants and other money to buy houses, fix up houses. And it's not for rich folks. You're real rich. This probably isn't for you. But you're probably listening anyway, because they're the people who really take advantage of it. But most of the programs I'm going to talk about are for people who don't have a lot of money. And that's to be an investor, or even a house flipping, or buying a house, or fixing up a house. There is so much money invested in government programs, nonprofit organizations, and other ways to get people in houses, because that's part of our economy, how it grows. The security. People want a roof over their head to feel secure. So that's what this is all about. I guess society, I don't know why these programs are here. They get in trouble, like we had a housing crash. Half the people said it's because of the government programs. I don't really know. I think it's greed on both sides. Yeah. But the guys who are playing with the lever seem to be should be more responsible than the people who have nothing. So anyway, that aside, I'm going to show you step by step how I find my reports and do my reports for you to find all the government money that's around. And see, it's stuff not in Google. You cannot find the good stuff by using Google. So you have to train yourself not to use Google in finding stuff. And you can use it, but don't rely on what it is. You only use Google if you know exactly what you're looking for. You know, because if you put in housing grants now or something like that, you're going to get gazillions. You'll get 100 million websites or whatever. You know? And most of everybody there will be somebody trying to sell you something. It's a real estate agent or something, or they want to get your name. See what happens, I see that people are doing these websites. Oh, these programs for people who want to buy houses on this website. And it's really there just selling your name, because people who want to sell you something if you're going to buy a house are there. Now, see, my idea is that you have to get all the information first before you go and buy something from somebody in the business. You cannot go and just go out of the gate and talk to a realtor, or go out of the gate and talk to a bank or whatever, and think that's the world. They're practiced to get money from you. That's all they do. Okay, somebody in business, all they do 24 hours a day is thinking, how can I get more money from the next person who walks in the door? You know, I mean, it sounds crass, but I think it's all about, right? And so you have to arm yourself. So they're not going to tell you the stuff that they don't sell, right? They're not going to tell you how to get free money, right? They just want to make a sale and get you out and get another person, right? So you have to arm yourself first. So what I'm trying to do is teach people how to get all the information about her options, your options that are out there. That's it. See, the options that are worthwhile don't advertise, so you won't find them using Google. So I'm going to give you the step-by-step of what I do. I got about 12 things that I do. Okay, places to go. Okay, again, the only way you use Google is because you know what you want to find. And what you want to find first is your city government. So remember, when you're doing this research now in the beginning, all you're looking for is .gov and .org. You don't want to deal with anybody else. I mean, maybe you want, they'll sneak in and they're good or whatever, but just to save a filtering thing, it's not worth trying it, because you'll get hooked too easily. So you're looking for .gov, G-O-V, or .org, O-R-G. Okay, and put in your city name. Like I live in Kensington, okay, Maryland. So I'd put in Kensington, Maryland, .gov in Google. See, use Google for it, but you have to know what you're looking for, okay? If I just put in houses, Kensington, Maryland, grants, free, anything, I'll get every huckster in the world, okay? So, and you don't want that. So you put the name of your city. Okay, now you have the city government website. Here are the kinds of things you have to do. You have to search through that website. They don't say, hey, hey, Harry, homes are over here. They don't have a big sign flashing that says homes here, or grants for money here, for homes here. No, you have to dig in the organization. And it's usually in a couple things called community development, or maybe housing. So look for things with either community development or housing, okay? They will be the things, okay? And you look for programs there, and that's what you'll find. I mean, things I find, your state and city. And then you go to your county. See, now your county is the same way, and they're even more than your city. Because every county has a whole bunch of programs for buying houses and fixing up houses and paying money if you're behind in your rent and all these kinds of things. I mean, you don't know what the hell to ask for. And that's the thing. You put the name of your county and then .gov, and you can put that in the Google thing. You're allowed to use Google. We won't flunk you because you know exactly what you're looking for. And then when you get your county website, you're fishing around for either housing, community development, rental, those kinds of words, because every county will call them something different. So it really almost boils down, as you look through the departments in their housing, in your city, you will see that the names, I mean, you'll eliminate most. And the ones that, hey, maybe it's hidden in there. You know, they have development, economic development or something. Maybe it's in there, you know. And so you'll click on that link for economic development and see what's going on. I mean, these two places, along with the state, are probably the most amazing things, are the biggest opportunities we have, really, for all this. See? And they'll never come up. I mean, there's stuff like, you know, money for divorced homemakers to buy a house. That's just wrong. Well, here's another one I found that's popping up a lot more places, is money if you have a lot of student debt. They give you a grant if you only if you have at least $30,000 in student debt. Wow. Yeah, that's right. You couldn't bring, this is why I wear the question, you don't know how to ask for those kind of questions. Well, where are the homeowner programs for student debt? You would never think of that. And that's what's so neat about doing this kind of work. I love doing it, the research. Man, I just get surprised all the time. Here, or how about $50,000 grant at 0% interest for home repairs. $50,000 at 0% interest. Boy, no bank's going to give you that, right? No, their investors will go crazy. Wall Street will come down and close them down. Or how about this? $10,000 for seniors to make their home more energy efficient. See, that's another aspect in your city and state. A lot of them have special departments just for seniors, and there's special programs for that, you know, for seniors. So it's amazing how. So that's why you have to look around. Then also in your county government, what else you look at is health, because health has a lot of housing programs in there because they want to make your home healthy. You may have lead paint. Well, there's a government program, you know, that will take that lead paint out, give you new lead paint, and whatever, and it's a grant. They'll fix it up, you know. Or in the economic development office, you know, on a city, what they'll have is money to fix up your house, to make it look pretty on the outside, to put more shrubs, you know, because they want you to make, or to paint your house. They give you free paint so you can paint your house and make the neighborhood look nice, you know. So where the hell, you can't go to the paint store and say, hey, you got any free paint for so my neighborhood looks like? No, it's the government that does that. That's why you don't find that stuff when you're going and searching that, because you're not going to look for paint, and won't even probably have the name house in it. It'll be like facade beautification or something like that. See, that's why the questions are more important than finding answers. You could find, you know, a million answers to housing grants, but what the hell? They're all wrong. They're not the really good stuff. And it's just people trying to sell you something. But would you ever think of facade beautification? Yeah, to buy, yeah, to fix up your house? And see, that's what and your county, every county, see what the county does, they get grants from the government called block grants. This goes to every county, okay? Now, so it's a whole big chunk of money. I mean, that's why now I think they're trying to put the health care into that. So that's why it was given so to give the local officials more, decisions of what to do with the money. Actually, I saw somebody, they're giving this money to people making $250,000 to pay for college. It's a grant block money. It's supposed to go to poor people, but they said, oh, they make up some reason why they're eligible and they get the money. So it's those kind of, so that block money goes somewhere in the county government and community development. Okay, now they give it out personally under individual programs. They'll have programs there for maybe you're afraid of foreclosure. You know, maybe you septic tanks are very popular where you live. So they give grants, money to get you a new septic tank, because that's important in a lot of communities. You know, so it's all different. Maybe you can't pay your mortgage, you can't pay your rent. That would be in this block grant money. Now, some of that, so you got to find out where that is. And also, if you're a developer, you want to know about that too. You want to, build houses, build condos or whatever, and then you could use that money to build property, homes or apartment buildings or whatever. And then what you do, you rent them to the government. The government pays, subsidizes people to rent them, and then they give you the rent. So the government's always going to pay. They're not going away, right? It may take them a little bit longer, but it's cool. I mean, this is the way a lot of people make money. And there's programs too now. Even a lot of programs, some programs are called first-time home buyers. Okay. And this first-time home buyers means that you have not had a home in the last 3 years, or you just split up. Maybe you're divorced or whatever. This is a displaced homemaker or displaced guy. And so now, because you split up, you have access to that first-time home buyer problem, even though it wasn't 3 years ago. So but always, and see what's interesting, when the bank goes in, for a lot of these programs, when you go to the bank to try to get money from the house, they want to make sure you make a lot of money. That's why you'll be turned down because you don't make enough money. These programs, you'll be turned down if you make too much money. That's why you don't find out about them, because they're looking for people. They don't have a lot of money that they're going to spend on marketing, so they want to find people who don't. Therefore, people who don't have a lot of money, so they can get a house. And that's important. For so, but the income requirements, people say, oh yeah, like I have to be poor or something like that. Well, first of all, poor in this country now is changed a whole lot. Normal poor for a lot of programs are usually about $40,000 a year for household. But in housing, it goes up to about $90,000. It depends on where you live, because they take it as a percentage of the average or the mean income where you are. So it could be 150%, 200%, or whatever. For a family of four, though, that goes up to $90,000 or $100,000 a year income. You're considered poor, and they help you with down payment money and closing cost money and all this kind of stuff. And here's another neat thing about these programs is they have something special called loans you don't have to pay back. Now that's the most bizarre thing. Who else but the government would have that? Can you imagine Bank of America having a sign, yes, we have loans you don't have to pay back. You're not going to see that anywhere. But here's the deal on that. Loans you don't have to pay back, they're trying to make sure that people just aren't using this money and getting and are not going to live there. So that's why they want to make sure you live there. This is for people to have housing, not people to be entrepreneurs. You can be entrepreneurs too, but they want to make sure for these programs. Other programs you can't. Some programs you can be entrepreneurs, some programs you can't. So that's why, what anybody says about a government program is right. They say it's this, and the other would say it's wrong, it's this. They're both right, because there's a program for both. So you can believe anything anybody says about any government program, because it'll be right somewhere. There's too many programs, and they all have different requirements. That's the problem. And they all have different income requirements. People say, oh, you make too much money. No, $90,000? Yeah. That doesn't sound like too much. And that's considered poor. So that's why you can go and get money. You got to learn that system, where this block grant money goes, because it goes out to developers and nonprofit organizations. Actually, that same block grant money, if you have a little nonprofit organization that wants to help people in the neighborhood do something, you have kids in the neighborhood you think should have something better, you have entrepreneurs in the neighborhood you think should have something better, or whatever, a new playground or something, you want something, it's that money too. That goes out every year to nonprofits and investors and things like that want to build. Well, for housing money, it goes to people who want to build low and moderate income housing. But the block grant money is also for other kind of projects in the community that you could do these nonprofits with, that you want to help your neighbors and stuff like that with little things you think are important, and that's the money you apply for there. And that is very open. Everybody thinks you have to hire someone, a hotshot grant writer. No, you just have to learn the system. They will have courses there on how to fill out the paperwork, or whatever. And that's what they're doing. Don't get suckered into paying $3,000 to some expert so they could get a $20,000 grant for you. Maybe, you should learn that, and you can. We all can, and it's just trying, that's all. And so you screw up the first time. They're probably going to screw up the first time too. So you might as well build that knowledge yourself so you have it and take it with you forever. That's the important thing, that you're building, your assets, not somebody else's. They're getting smart on your nickel if you're paying for them to do this. Okay, so now we have those three areas. We have you go to your city, put the name of your city and .gov and start searching there. You got your county, you put the name of the county, then .gov and start searching there. Now you have your state. So now there's one thing, there's a state, so like Pennsylvania Housing Authority. Every state has a housing authority in their state capital, and they're the big money people. They have wonderful grant money and stuff like that, and fix-up money, mortgages that are cheaper, and all kinds of great money stuff. So, I mean, if you're going to go only one place and want to see what the world is like a little bit, go to your state housing authority. You start looking there, you'll see fix-up money, you'll see, and also now they have cheaper mortgages. Because what they do, see, the government doesn't have overhead it has to pay for. Fat cat people were trying to make lots of money selling money, They don't have that. So that's why it's always going to be cheaper, better to use a government or a nonprofit organization to finance these things or to get money from than it will in a private. That's why I think .gov and .org is the most thing. Okay, so in your state housing authority, everyone has them. Okay. Just shop through the list. That's what to do. Shop through the list. Now, the other places that have that, beside your state housing authority, will be the economic development office. Now, they may have an economic development office and a community investment office. So those three, you have the state housing authority, the economic office, and the community office. Now they're all going to have different, every state will have different kind of names for them, but that's what you're after, to do that. And that's where you'll find, I mean, at the state housing, there could be 24 programs there. What a lot of states now have are things that help you because you're underwater. I mean, the states have programs. If you lose your job and have a mortgage, you can't pay it, they'll pay you like 40 grand to pay all your 6 months of back mortgage payments or whatever the heck it is. Wow. Or what? Another program they have is they'll give you like $50,000, $60,000 to reduce your total mortgage so it gets a lot lower and you pay less. Yeah. So that's just crazy stuff you never think about asking about. Now, there's other things that are great in here are nonprofit organizations. One thing you always want to know about is HUD counseling offices. So if you search for HUD, H-U-D, counseling.gov, you'll go there, and they'll have, every state is listed there and all there. I mean, there's like 3,000 of these around the country. And these are offices that get grants to help you buy a house or actually in financial trouble, all kinds of things. So you could find them there. So you click on, when you get to the HUD website, .gov, remember you only go to .gov or .org, and you'll see a whole list for your state. There could be 50 to 100 there. You find the ones in your zip code, and you call a few. Hey, you make an appointment to go and see, I'm thinking of buying a house, I got to upgrade my house or something, or whatever it is with housing, make an appointment free. See, it's free. And they don't sell you anything. You look in Google and you want to talk to somebody about buying a house, you're going to get somebody who's got something to sell you. And they're there while they're selling you one thing, they're trying to think of what else they can sell you. Because that's how they make a living and that's what they're paid to do, right? But these people, it's completely different. They're there trying to help you solve the problem. And that's why they'll be a good source for programs that I may even not know about or whatever. And they keep up on what's happening locally a lot better. So that's it. Now, to find the other nonprofits, that's hard, tell you the truth. You could go to your state housing, not the state housing authority, but your county, community development office. They should have a list of the nonprofit organizations. That's a good place to start. If you put in, these will come up sometimes, in a Google search, if you put in like your county and then housing counseling or something like that. Because a lot of these nonprofits also have free counseling because they're going to give a house out for free. They're going to do something like that. They also have counseling available. So you may not want the counseling because you got that with the HUD, and it's probably the same, but they have also a money program to help. So that's it. I mean, finding those is a little tougher, and it's just following leads. You find one thing. I mean, that's what digging around is. Looking at the bottom of the website, and they mention something else. I mean, this stuff it takes effort. I mean, it's not one. That's what I try to do for people is give you a whole. I'll have 100 places that all give just free money and help. For housing. So, but you can do it too, and it'd be fun if more people learn how to use the system. Because if you learn how to do it for this, that's how to do anything in Google. Because Google is running our lives, and you have to know how to use it properly. If you're using it just to look at the first 3 pages, man, you'll think the world is a lot different than it really is, and that's the problem. If you think it's something, then that's your world, but it really isn't. And the people are getting behind it and using all this other stuff that you're not aware of. And that's what we have to learn. So that's why finding these nonprofits, that's a little bit, but don't remember, .org, that's what you want to do. Or some .coms are nonprofits, so you read about them a little. If they say they're a nonprofit, okay, it's too risky to take a chance if they're a .com, I think, and they're not a nonprofit, but the kind of things that are out there for people, $50,000 interest-free loan, interest-free, plus $4,000 grant for closing costs. Here's one of the best things. Sweat equity. So you go out and help people build houses. You put in so many hours, and then you get a house for free. Actually, what it is down payment for free and zero cost. Zero cost, right? I mean, zero interest on your mortgage. Now, if you're paying zero interest, that means your mortgage is more than half price. Because most of mortgage, you're paying at least double your mortgage in interest rates. I mean, it's the banks that are making all the money on the mortgage, So that's right. If you don't have that, and that's through Habitat Humanity, and there's another one or two out there. So that's why, wherever you live, you check, hey, is there a Habitat for Humanity there? Because one of those houses, man, I think that's the best deal that we have in America, is that. Remember Jimmy Carter? If you're old enough to remember, he was a big proponent of that. And he still goes and helps people build houses. I guess he's trying to get a home himself sometime. Actually, I just saw an article today. There's a farm down in Carolina. I forget whether it's north or south. This lady is giving it away. She doesn't want it anymore. And it's worth like $450,000. And she's asking people to write an essay. And $200 deposit, or I don't know, deposit, I guess you could throw it away. $300? That's right, $300. I was just corrected. Froggy the Gremlin. $300 entrance fee, let's say. And she'll give the house away to some nice couple. So you may want to Google that. But $300, Carolina house, and that will be good. So a lot of down payment, and there's a lot of nonprofits give a lot of zero interest money, and that's wonderful. I mean, it's usually for closing costs or down payment or something, but zero interest, man. You're not going to get that anywhere. Now, there's a whole bunch of other federal programs that you look at. If you go to HUD, look at the programs there too, because there's stuff like 50% off on homes if you work in certain occupations, like teachers, firemen, policemen, stuff like that. cool people in our community, that we're trying to help. Let me just get back online so I see if we don't blow up while I'm on. And so they're neat. Now the other place is for this, besides everything, and the federal government is Department of Agriculture. If you Google USDA Rural Development and .gov, now they'll have a state-by-state listing of all the housing programs, and there's a dozen grants, loans, all kinds of things, that are there. And there's other nonprofits. I don't do a lot in that yet, so I haven't gotten too many small areas or low population requests to do in those areas. So I don't know a lot about it as I do most in the bigger metropolitan areas or smaller community or whatever, country, I don't know, but that's it. I mean, country still have cities, country still have county, country still have state, all those, it really is the same, but it's the USDA, and there's grants. I mean, there's like fix-up money too, which is hidden that people don't realize about, that they have a grant like $10,000, $15,000 to fix up your house, but it's normally a loan or a grant, but the grant is for seniors, and it can be used anywhere. You don't have to be out in the country. So how would you know, that there is, the Department of Agriculture has a grant for you living in the city to get a new roof? You would know. Oh, I forgot a place too. I checked. You got to check Department of Energy. It's not only U.S. Department, your state Department of Energy. And you look for energy offices within the county and the city, because they're going to have things to make your house more energy efficient. And also the utility companies. I forgot, that's what you want to do. You want to go to the utility company because they have that. They'll give you like a free refrigerator. That's right. How would you know to ask for a free refrigerator? Hey, can I get a free refrigerator? Or a lot of times what the government programs will do is they'll give you $25,000 like for down payment or to fix up money or something, and you only pay it back at 0%, and you only pay it back when you sell the house. By then you probably made $100,000 on it, so you're never going to miss it. Now that's just the government stuff. So that's an overview of what I do in the government. Now, what I also do is non-government stuff that people aren't using as much yet, but I think it's a big item. And this is what's going on for crowdfunding, what's going on with peer-to-peer lending, primarily, shared economy. All those things are so exciting to me. I mean, now on crowdfunding, there's special crowdfunding websites just for housing stuff, just for people looking for down payments. People now, you need, $10,000 to do something to your house, and there's crowdfunding sites for that. Or you're back on your mortgage, and there's crowdfunding sites for that. And what's great about crowdfunding sites is that, and truthfully, the government paperwork isn't bad at all. The only government paperwork that's bad are those that want to get grants that are competitive. So you have to tell a story and everything. These, are government grants. It's going to be 2-3 pages at the most, fill in the blanks. But on crowdfunding, there's no form to fill out. They just make you make a website, and that'll take you anywhere from 30 minutes to maybe a couple hours, depending on who you are. And that's what's cool. And they don't care how much money you have. They don't care what your background is, anything. Nobody does credit checks, nothing. And actually, by the way, don't forget in the grants, they want to give you the money, the government money, because you have bad credit. That's what it's money for, so don't worry about having bad credit. And then on the crowdfunding, they don't care because they're not. And it's the crowds that take that. So I show you how to use crowdfunding for that. A lot of examples, a lot of people are doing it and also how to get investors. If you're an investor, you want to be a real estate investor, now it's easy to find fat cats like never before. But when I grew up, coming up, in my day, if you want to know rich people, you had to join their country clubs and stuff like that. Now, rich people are all don't know what to do with their money, unfortunately, and they put themselves in a barrel, And there's websites where all these rich people go to look for deals, and so you present deals to them or whatever. Hey, you're looking for a partner to develop houses here, and you need this kind of money or whatever. That's all there, and they're all in a barrel looking for you, and that's why you don't have to dress up and try to pretend you're somebody you're not and to get into some country club. Now you can find these people online because they want you to find them. They're looking for, they feel they're going to miss the next big one. They think they're so smart because they're rich. But they're really only rich. Actually, venture capital, people like that who invest in companies, and they're wrong 90% of the time, like anywhere from like 85 to 90% of the time that these fat cats invest in companies, they fail. So they're wrong 90% of the time. And that's sort of average. I mean, I've written about 100 books and only 10 made money. So I'm running 90% of the time. I know that. And that's what life is about. Peer-to-peer loans, where you eliminate the middleman, which is the financial services industry, and get a loan that's half the cost, and you as a lender make twice as much money, 5 times as much money as the bank, right? And nobody's blowing up on these things. They've been around for about 3, 4, 5 years already. So that's fun. Now here's another neat thing I show you about is how to use meetups as an investor. Because every town has people making money in real estate. So now, again, it's not a country club you have to join. These are places you go. Look, you go on this website, find a meetup, in real estate investing where you are, and you go down and pay $10 for a lousy pizza dinner or whatever, and you meet people making dough in real estate. And you learn about that. Don't go to some real estate seminar, man. That's stupid to me. You're going to give somebody $500 to go tell you how you're going to be a millionaire. No, learn from actually people that are in your neighborhood doing it. And that's the best way to learn. And now it's easy to do that. And the other thing I put in here too is how to get legal help for free. Because that's why, to me, what's important about our economy, I think, where we live in America, everybody thinks they need to hire, you have to be rich to get justice. And that's true sometimes, but it doesn't have to be that way. There's also, we have a country full of regulations. Everybody's regulated. And people are more afraid of the government office that regulates them than they are of your attorney. Because their attorneys are better than your attorneys anyway. But, so if you have, insurance on your house and they won't pay a claim or something like that, or your real estate broker screws you over, or your lawyer screws you over, there's a place you could go that regulates them and your banker and everybody else, and you say, they did me wrong. Nah. Whatever you want. Their job, whether you're right or wrong, is to go investigate. So, and the good people, the good people that just don't want that hassle. It's sort of like you getting a bill from the IRS for $17.95. You owe back taxes. And the IRS is wrong, right? Well, what are you going to do? You'll probably just pay the $17. What the hell? And that's what the rich people, these banks, insurance companies and everything, it's going to cost them $5,000 to argue with the government. They'd rather just pay you off. And that's the power you have at just living in America. We all have that. And they don't even ask if you're a citizen. You're living here. That's what counts, And they do that. And actually, there's a lot of programs I find that, it's funny, and I think I'm going to do a separate video on this, for people who are not eligible for programs because they're not a citizen. There's only money programs for people who are not citizens. And actually, a lot of the programs, you don't have to be a citizen. You have to be here legal. And there's other programs, they don't even ask what the hell you are. So it doesn't really matter. Those probably are not money programs. But the services, like the free legal help, they're not going to ask you if you're legal, illegal, tall, short, smelly, perfumed, or whatever. They'll just follow up the paperwork. That's what a bureaucrat does, And then you scare the pants off of some lawyer or whatever who's afraid they're going to get disbarred. Or that bank, you know, afraid they're going to be shut down by the government. And just because of you doing this. You know? So that's power we have in the system. And it's learning how to use the system. I think I really babbled a lot here, huh? Let me... oh my goodness, yeah. So that's 30 minutes or so. I think I talked your ears off. I will, you want to leave me a message there on Facebook or anywhere else? I'll try to answer them all. If I don't, just beat on me again in another venue or the same. I'm an old guy, I forget stuff. And I try to do it all. I want to, because if I, off the top of my head, can help you with a source, I mean, I have nothing better to do with my life. Yeah. I mean, that's a wonderful gift I feel I have. And it doesn't do me any good if I keep it all, right? So if I know something you can have, boy, I want to make your life happier too. So thanks again for putting up with me. And I don't think I even cursed that much too. I mean, my wife's over there listening. I don't know. She'll probably get a review in a little bit. But, nah, she's cool. Okay, take care. Talk to you soon.